We believe Nanaimo Ladysmith Public Schools is a district on the move. As we move forward with our district vision of success for all, we feel it is important to share our goals with parents and our school community. We hope this presentation helps to clarify how we work to empower all students to become healthy, confident, lifelong learners and socially conscious citizens.
How are schools providing safe environments? First of all, we have our inclusion policy, which is an overarching document that empowers all staff members, students, and community members in our schools to really include all diversity and ensure that we are seeing respectful behavior between everybody in our schools. The associated administrative procedures that you see in the different colors below are kind of the how-to guides for how we interact with each other in various different contexts. So we have sexual orientation and gender identity, honoring diversity and challenging racism, codes of conduct, student suspension, harassment, intimidation, bullying. All of these are areas that we are moving to a more educative, preventative, and restorative practice. So that's moving away from our old punitive compliance models to a place now where we're expecting students to be accountable for their behavior, but also to work together in communities showing respectful behavior and holding each other accountable. Now, as we look at what inclusive means, this is kind of in the same vein. And as I was saying, inclusion means that everyone should feel welcome in our schools, and that means really everyone. And so, as you see here, we're talking about different cultural aspects of how we interact with each other. And when we're talking about culture, we're really wanting to use the broadest possible definition. Everybody has a culture, every group has a culture, whether it's a small knitting group or whether it's an ethnic group from a different country. There's cultures that exist everywhere. And our schools need to be looking at moving from a place of cultural awareness and sensitivity, where we're looking at other folks and saying, okay, I need to learn about this other culture, I need to learn what they do and how to be sensitive to them so that we can interact in a respectful way, to understanding that it's more about introspection and cultural safety. How do we look within ourselves and be aware of our own biases and our own ways of responding to people who are different from us and addressing those in a way that evens the playing field for everybody that might exist in our school system. Now, when we're looking at why have we shifted into including so much more Indigenous content and worldview in our schools, this is simply that these are the original cultures of this land and they deserve special emphasis in our society here. I think that goes without saying in today's day and age. And we're also in an era of truth and reconciliation. Our Board of Education here in Nanaimo Ladysmith Public Schools has adopted a special goal on reconciliation, and that is motivating the work of many of us in the school district to really move this forward. And we also are seeing in the era of truth and reconciliation a revised curriculum. And the revised curriculum basically just has Indigenous content and worldview woven throughout. And so this is something that has been long overdue and is something that we're now really embracing in the school system and moving forward with in a good way.
3 years ago, the BC Ministry of Education mandated a new competency-driven based curriculum K-9. Therefore, how we communicate student learning also needed to change. How often should you hear about your child's learning? Well, this year in NLPS, we have been chosen as a pilot district to give feedback to the ministry on how we are communicating student learning. We are required to communicate with parents 5 times per year or semester. In NLPS, we communicate with parents with 2 formal, one the progress and another the summative, as well as 3 informal times that are referred to as ongoing communication of student learning. What is an ongoing communication of student learning? An ongoing communication shared with parents is a student-created evidence that refers to what the student is learning, including teacher feedback as well as student reflection. When you receive your child's report card, you may be asking, why are there no letter grades in grades 4 to 9? To explain this, I'd like to talk about the learning process. When a student learns a new skill, they practice the skill. Then they make mistakes along the way. We analyze and support the student to try again, and then at some point, we assess or quiz the student. When we attach a letter grade to this, the learning ends. By removing the letter grade and continuing the learning cycle of making mistakes, reflecting and analyzing, asking for help, and practice, we are continuing to improve the student's learning and eventually reach mastery.
When you receive your child's report card, you will notice from kindergarten to grade 9 that we report using this proficiency scale. The language of the scale should be familiar to students, as all their formative assessment is based on these terms. Each of these terms is used in relation to grade level expectations. Reporting in grades 10 to 12 has not changed. Final report cards and transcripts still have percentages and letter grades. Graduation requirements have, however, changed. Students will no longer write subject-based provincial exams after this year. Instead, each student will write a provincial numeracy and literacy assessment sometime between grades 10 and 12. Students can write each assessment up to 3 times in their graduation years, and the assessment is marked and recorded on a transcript using the 4-point proficiency scale that we use to report. In addition, students will take 2 new courses for graduation: Career Life Education and Career Life Connections. Planning 10 and grad transitions are no longer courses students will take. All graduation credit information is available to grades 8 to 12 students and parents in their accounts in MyEdBC under the Transcripts tab.
British Columbia schools have had some of the most comprehensive sexual health education curriculum in Canada for over a decade. In the last few years, this health content has been moved from classes like Health and Career Education and Planning 10 to PE. So now PE is called PHE, or Physical Health Education. This means that all students from kindergarten to grade 10 will be learning health content, which includes lessons on mental, physical, emotional, and social health. Data clearly shows that when students receive comprehensive sexual health in school, there are more positive outcomes and less negative outcomes. Positive outcomes include students are able to act responsibly according to their personal and family values. Students are able to form and maintain healthy relationships. Students are able to set appropriate boundaries, and they know about their body and how it functions. Data also shows a decrease in negative outcomes. Students are less likely to be sexually abused, be exploited, be in an abusive relationship, and young people wait longer to have sex when they receive quality sexual health education at school. Ideally, kindergarten is not the first time that students are learning about their bodies. Parents are the most important educators when it comes to teaching about safety and values. In school, at the primary age, young people will be learning about their feelings and emotions, caring behaviors in families, and that their body belongs to them. Young people will learn about the correct names for their body parts and different types of touch, what safe touch is, what unsafe touch is, and that there's no touch that's allowed to be secret touch. They also learn about who their safe adults are and that they can go to them when they need help. In the intermediate grades, students learn about how to manage the exciting changes of puberty, which include the mental, social, emotional, and physical aspects. They learn about coping strategies, and they learn to embrace their self and their identity. In the older grades, students learn about healthy relationships, consent, how to assert their boundaries, and healthy sexual decision-making. On the new district sexual health website, parents can now see what their child needs to know at each grade and will find helpful conversation starters to have at home. There are also tools like a social media contract and the Need Help Now button on the top right-hand side, which shows parents and young people local resources. This website is also translatable to different languages by pressing on the world icon button in the top right-hand corner. You can access this website in two ways. One, by going to the school district website and hovering over the Programs tab, or you can type the web link found at the top of this slide. You can also follow the Facebook page on the bottom.
Technology is all around us, and the word technology can be used to describe something as simple as a pencil or a bicycle, or something as complex as virtual reality and data analytics. So in Nanaimo Lady Smith Public Schools, we needed to really investigate and look at how we choose to use technology in our district. There's a myriad of ways to do it, but we believe in a few key concepts. We believe that technology should be used as a tool to enhance student learning, a tool that enables students to capture creativity, get that from their mind out into the real world, and be collaborative with it. We also believe that technology is a great tool to be inclusive of all students and all learners. It's a great way to differentiate instruction so everyone can be involved in the learning process and technology can meet them where they are while learning. We also believe that technology is a great way to capture creativity. It's a way for students to show their learning in formative ways and show their learning in ways that work for them.
Why this technology? We have purposely chosen technology that would scaffold learning kindergarten through grade 12. Here are just some of the tech we use. B-Bots, K-2, Spheros, grade 3 to 8. Microbits allow for critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity, and we use them in the intermediate and early secondary ages. SketchUp is a software used at our secondary schools, and it can be used for designing, animation, 3D drawing, and modeling.
Using technology in the reporting process is a great way to showcase student learning and assess student progress in very unique and differentiated ways. MyEdBC is a provincial-wide database system that houses student information here in British Columbia. In grades 8 to 12, students and parents now have access to their own family portal accounts in order to view student assessment and reporting information. FreshGrade is a great assessment tool for us to show that student's formative growth in informal ways that happen throughout the year. Creativity is a main tenet of the redesigned curriculum here in British Columbia. And we believe that iPads are a great digital tool to allow kids to nurture their creativity in unique and differentiated ways. Apps like GarageBand, Book Creator, and Explain Everything allow kids to capture learning in mobile environments, and it allows them to take that learning and show it to others and learn from their mistakes, their triumphs, and their challenges.
Another important thing about creativity is how it can allow for differentiated learning. Whether it's an iPad, Chromebook, Read Write for Google, they are all tools that allow students to showcase their learning in less traditional ways. This allows opportunities for all our students to showcase their best learning. Google Suite for Education, also known as G Suite, offers so many strengths in all the categories. We're going to focus on its ability for collaboration. You can collaborate within the class from teacher to student, student to student, small groups, or the whole class. You can also collaborate off-site. Students are away, they can still take part. They can work collaboratively on the same document in real time from anywhere. Using G Suites is also very easy to share work, and it's excellent for saving work. Students will never lose their work again. What is professional learning community time? We are proud in our district that we have adopted PLC time Monday afternoons. This time allows educators to learn together in response to a student learning goal. These goals are based on student data. An example is one school took data from students and established the goal to improve writing. That school then worked on better understanding Read Write for Google as a tool to improve student writing. This is one of many strategies that they are using to meet their writing goal. As you can see from this entire presentation, there are so many new things happening in our district. PLC time allows educators the time to work collaboratively, implement and reflect on this learning as it relates to improved student learning outcomes.